If you ever get the chance to visit Costa Rica, for example, the Costa region in northwestern Costa Rica, as I did in January 2025, you might see lush green forests and a great diversity of wildlife. And you might think, this is exactly what I would expect from a tropical rainforest. However, this region of Costa Rica does not have tropical rainforest, but rather tropical dry forest. There is a difference. It doesn't rain continually throughout the year, and there are months with very little rain. During these months of very little rain, many trees, most of them, are predicted to drop their leaves as forests do in temperate North America, not because of the cold, but because of the lack of water. This is an adaptation to use and lose less water during the dry months. And that is why it was curious why there were so many leaves in the canopy that, for example, it was difficult to focus on these spider monkeys because they were among so many leaves, or why there was so much water going over this waterfall. Once again, I was able to visit this region in the month of January. Given that the dry season typically starts in November and stretches till April, it is typical that most leaves would have been lost by this point in the season because of the dry weather. But Costa Rica in this region, Costa, had experienced an unseasonable amount of rain that allowed the plants to keep their leaves longer. So climate change literally implies change, a difference from what is typically observed in an area's annual climate. And this will take on different forms in different parts of the world. In this area, the time of the year which was normally dry is now wetter. This and obviously affects the plants in that they are able to keep their leaves. This would obviously affect the animals in this area. And so climate change is having diverse impacts on wildlife throughout the world. One might ask, what is the harm in this? Well, whenever something changes, invariably there will be animals and other organisms which might, gain from this or lose from this. But remember that these organisms which live in this area have adapted to a specific set of environmental conditions, and an environmental change could potentially disadvantage at least some of them. So, for example, the dry conditions throughout part of the year might have limited the plants that could occur here. So the plants which do occur here have less competition from plants which would be found in other regions of Costa Rica. There would be species of insect which might not thrive here. That would be fewer insects which eat the plants. The birds which occur here would have adapted for that. If it becomes wetter, then there might be species which increase their range and provide increasing competition. This would be new predators, new potential insect pests, new potential diseases. And especially given that some species have very narrow ranges. Some in Costa Rica occur in Costa Rica and nowhere else in the world. The introduction of invasive species from other areas could potentially threaten them.